Hey guys, welcome back. Happy 2025. This is my first video of the year, so I figure why not? Let's get started with some first four figures. This time, as you could see, this is the Dash Attack Alucard from the Castlevania Symphony of the Night series. 1/7 scale, I guess, resting statue. This is the definitive edition that comes with the bat form and the wolf forms that normally Alucard here transforms into. The box is pretty light, probably width-wise is about, I want to say, probably close to 25 inches by about 15 inches in depth and about 16 inches in height here. So it's not a big box, it's not a heavy box. It's got some nice detailing on it, pretty cool looking. I got this again directly from First Four Figures, so I paid approximately, I believe, close to $480 or so. That's what it retails for. And I did just get it here in January of 2025. You guys can see it looks like this is number 32 out of 300 for whatever that's worth. They do have other editions of this statue. I think one that's just Alucard kind of dashing towards you without the wolf and the bat. This one specifically has a wolf, the bat, and also an arm for you to display him with his shield, as you can see back here. So certainly looking forward to opening this one up, seeing what it's all about. And just a brief look at the packaging here. It comes with this sponge type stuff. You do get a little, what is this, a certificate card here on the outside. And some First Four Figures tape. Those of you, if you saw my Sonic 2 statue from First Four Figures, if you saw that video, I wasn't too crazy about this type of packaging just because it kind of held into the statue a little too tight. It made it a little hard to take off, so hopefully it's a little better in this case. But this is how your Dash Attack Alucard will come in packaged once you open them up. So went ahead and opened up here the first side of the container. Everything was packaged really well in a lot of this tissue paper in this foam container. Let's start off here with this one piece, which is the shield here, which is done really well, I want to say, in resin. Got the nice, I guess, wolf detailing with the gold and the red here, the wings, the cross in black. It's got some nice weight to it. That's because the arms attached to it. This is a switch out here. No detailing here on the back, but the front, man, it's done really, really well here. So this is definitely a really nice piece for the shield. Next thing here was, of course, the cape. The cape, again, came in really nice here, I think. It's all black on the outside. You got some nice sculpting here to give it sort of that flow of the cape as he's rushing or dashing forward. The inside is all white. I believe they did have another version that had different colored capes. I did not opt for that one, as I mentioned earlier. And you've got your slot here, metal rod. I'm assuming it goes into the back of the statue. You've got some chains here, which are connected to the cape, the collar here. You got the folded out collar. So again, a pretty cool piece here so far. Again, this did come in very, very nicely packaged. So far, haven't seen any breakages. Here we have the arm. I'm assuming this is the alternate option. If you don't want to display the arm with the shield that I just showed you, you can just have him with this arm. Looks like there's a magnet here. But again, done really well. There is some nice texturing work that's done here, so it's not plain. Almost looks like a cloth like sculpting that they've done. You've got the here, this section here with the gold accents, and of course he's got his black gloves on. So again, pretty cool there. No issues there. The other part that I did get, and this one looks fine. Again, everything came in packaged really well, so I can't really complain from that end. The sword itself looks nice. Again, it's not metal, it's resin. You've got some nice detailing, so the sword is not plain by any means. You've got the hand here with the metal rod that I'm assuming will go into the statue, and the black shiny gloves. The hilt on the sword's done really nice, and the handle as well. Again, it's gold. My only minor issue, I guess, if you want to say that, with this sword is that it's not fully straight. I don't know if you could tell there is a slight bend to the left with this one, particularly here in the middle. And since it's not metal, it's resin. I don't want to play around with it too much. Maybe some slight heat, but I would be really careful. It's not terrible, like it's not super noticeable, but to me it is. It's slightly leaning to the left, but you know, again, the detailing on the sword, I think it's done pretty well. Just rather unfortunate that it's got that slight lean. And then right here we have the head here. Just trying to give you guys a closer look and get that to focus in. And again, the head here, no issues on my end. Again, that's Alucard there. You've got the eyes, the lips and the nose, I think are done all really well. I think depending on the angle, I think if you look at it from above, it doesn't look as great, but I think if you start looking at it from this angle here, it looks a little better. The hair, long flowing sculpted hair here. And you guys can see here, there's a magnet here on the neck. So again, no issues so far, thankfully, other than the slightly bent sword. And this head looks pretty good. So we'll move on to the rest. So moving on here, this is the other foam container that's underneath the one I just showed you. So for this, you kind of just have to take all these foam parts out. And this is a part I didn't quite like too much when I got my Sonic statue. Because you have to, the statue itself is like kind of in there in the foam, and you kind of have to pull it out really carefully. I'm assuming in this case I'm gonna have to be really careful with pulling these pieces out and get them out, you know, without getting anything stuck in the foam and potentially pulling on things. Like you see, I don't know if you could tell, his coat's right here. You certainly don't want to pull the statue out by his coat. You want to get a good handle and really be really careful with pulling that out. So first piece here I pulled out is the base right here, plain old black, but you know, this is going to be covered mostly by the statue. You see this slot here for the foot, I'm assuming. Again, you see a nice big chunky magnet there, so nothing much else going on, pretty plain. But here on the side, of course, you see the bat with the wolf head, and I love little detailing the bat here with the gold. And you know, all the looks like Marvel almost kind of look that they've tried to give it, and I think they've done a pretty good job there with the sculpting and the coloring that they've done there. It's pretty much the same pattern all around till you get back to the front where you've got the bats with the guy, you know, with the wolf, and then here of course you got Dash Attack Alucard Definitive Edition, 1/7 scale resin. This is again number 32. Looks like it looks like a 32 out of 300. So again, pretty cool, and it's nice weight base. It actually feels solid, which is good. Does not feel hollow at all. So pretty cool. Moving on here, the next part is the wolf here with the smoke effect. Just one thing to note, the way this is set into the container here is set flat like this, and you're going to be I guess when you pull this out, you're always going to want to not pull from here or from here, just to avoid any breakage. That's why I'm not too crazy about this type of packaging. I did have to dig my hand all the way in and try to pull out from the bottom. I would say do avoid pulling from these sections when you're trying to get him out of the box. But as far as the smoke, again, I think it's done really well. You know, again, it's just like got nice smoky texture here. You've got a lot of grays and whites and some darker colors to sort of give it that texture. And I think the shaping is done really well. And then of course you've got the wolf form coming out here, and that wolf form is done really well. Love the eyes there on the wolf. They've got some nice, looks like brown with black eyelids. The mouth is done really well, I would say. It's good, running at you, ready to bite you. And the hair, love the hair texture, the way they've done it here. It's done really well. Again, it's not plain. They've got different shades of like grays and whites, and you know, to give it sort of that texture. And of course, you got the little feet here, the paws rather, on the wolf. There's some of the detail underneath. But yeah, really cool. And I guess I'll have to figure out how this goes attached to the base, but it looks like on this side there are magnets. At least I see an indent for a magnet here. So yeah, pretty cool. So, all right, let's go ahead here with the bat. And again, the way this is set in the box, very similar to the wolf. He's laid in flat, so you're going to be very tempted to try and pull this up by the wing. Again, don't do that. This seems very thin. So get your hands in there and try to get as much of the base as you can and pull this out. It kind of makes it hard, again, with these type of containers to get this out. But once you get it out, again, similar style as the other smoke effect from the wolf form. You know, you still got the grays, the whites, the darker colors to give it some of that additional detailing. The sculpting, again, is done really well. Again, looks like proper like fog or smoke, whatever you want to call it. Again, you got, looks like a magnet slot here and also one down here on the bottom. The bat itself, I want to say, I think it's done really well. Again, you got one wing. You know, it looks like this is very thin resin, so be really careful with hitting this or pulling this. But the color there is done well. We've got this color here on each of the wings and the different sculpting and color differences in the brown or black or what have you. And then you've got the body of the bat. The legs lack a little definition here in the bat. They kind of blended in, but it doesn't look terrible. Wish they would have added a little more detail there. But the front of the bat itself looks pretty cool. You got some hair detail here by the neck. You got the mouth open with the teeth. It looks really cool. And of course the bat ears. So again, looks really nice. So that is the bat form there. All right, and lastly, here's the Alucard body. Again, be really careful when you're pulling this out. You're going to be very tempted to pull by this coat. Do not do that. Try to get your hand in there. I, in my case, got my right hand in there. I was able to grab here closer to the body and pull him up. Do not pull by this coat. In regards to the coat, it's done really nice. You've got some nice sort of like detail work that they've done there, so it's not all smooth and plain black. It's got some sculpting in it, kind of gives it that fabric type look here. And then same thing with the arms. You've got the slot here, which I'm assuming is for the cape. You've got this nice gold collar here on the coat. And then moving on to the front, awesome, I think, gold detailing here. That's continuing here on the section here of the coat. And then same thing here on this side. Of course, you got your magnet for your other arm, which this could be the shield arm or the plain old arm here. More gold detailing here. Love the detail here all the way going around through the coat. So again, the jacket itself or coat or whatever you call it looks really nice. It's got some nice underlining here, which they've done a good job. It's not just plain white or black. If it's got all this sculpting and black lines, that kind of gives it more of a realistic look. Then you've got the frills on the shirt here, the neck. Again, very, very well done, I would say. Got the vest here with the black and silver accents, which look really cool. Got a bit of a belt going on here. Again, really nice. And you've got his sword here, where he stores his sword. You know, you've got black and gold. And again, this is all sculpted, the gold parts anyway. So it's not just flat paint. I think it's done really well. The pants, they are just plain black, but they've tried to go the other way and give you some folds and muscle definition here. This knee, of course, he's bending it, so you've got the fabric here bunched up. So they've definitely tried their best to go for that fabric look here in the legs. And then you've got, of course, his boots here. Nice shiny black with this white collar here on the top. Got that going on both sides. And at least on my copy is nice, white and glossy, but they also do have a bit of a red shine around them. So it's not all just plain white. So I think that's a really nice touch. And then going on down here, you look at the boots. You've got a nice chunky magnet here. So I'm going to go ahead and put this together. So that's all the pieces you do get. Again, one of my nitpicks is this type of packaging is not too friendly to take out, you know, these kind of very delicate pieces. So just something for me to note. All right, so let's go ahead and try and put this together on camera for you guys. This is the front of the base right here. The bat form here has a slot here that will go in the base. It'll fit without any issue, no problems. It's magnetized, kind of just sits in there, and it's easy to take on and off. If anything, it feels a little shaky, but it's not going to fall off. There's also a slot here. Then on the bat version, on the fog, where Alucard's foot will actually fit, and you can actually see the indent of the boot here. And this is keyed so that the shape will fit in. So normally I would say stick this here, and then you can go ahead and try and get Alucard sort of in place. Again, the shape kind of matches up pretty well, and there's also a magnet in there, but this is a snug fit. So perhaps it may be better, rather than putting in the bat first, that you actually take this out and try to get this to fit in first, Alucard to the bat form, before you put this onto the base. So I went ahead and I attached Alucard here to the fog section with the bat. This did take a little bit of force to get this in, which I guess it's good, because that's pretty much the only joint that's holding Alucard to this part, which will then go attached to the base. Just be really careful to match up the shape, you know, to the key. And if you are going to need to apply some pressure, but just be really careful that you're just directly applying the pressure here, and not sort of pushing up on these effects here on this side. So I finally did manage to get it in. I think it's all the way in there. So again, pretty cool. And then at that point, you could then take this and just have it sitting like so. And that's what you're going to end up with at that point. All right, so next thing here is the wolf form. And again, there is a shape here with, on this side here, with magnets that you can use to sort of give yourself a bit of a guide. And you'll see that it matches up kind of here to the bat side. So you kind of just slide that in, and you will feel the magnets kind of grab it. It's not super snug or anything, but once it's in, you know, you'll see that it'll fit right in. There is a bit of a seam that you can clearly tell. Wish they could have done that slightly better here in between the two sections, but you know, it is what it is at this point. Just kind of give you guys a bit of a better look. You will notice the seam there, even though there's magnets to sort of hold this in place. Wish they could have done that just a tad better there, but this is sort of where we're at so far. The next thing here, we're going to attempt to do the cape. As I showed you earlier, there is a slot here with a metal rod that's meant to go here. And again, these match up pretty well. So again, I'm going to attempt to go ahead and do that here for you guys. Of course, this should go in first before you put on the head if you want to display him with the cape, simply because it won't fit in with the head on, obviously. And once you get that in, you have to press in, but it fit in without much issue. Thankfully, the metal rod kind of fits right in. You guys just saw that I just did that with one hand. Again, it's coming together. So again, no issues with the cape. It's looking pretty cool so far. Moving on here, next thing we're going to do is put in the sword here. This is keyed a certain way, so you can kind of tell how it fits in there. You probably need a flashlight to be able to see in there, because it's all black, but essentially this kind of goes like that. You shouldn't feel too much resistance once you get it in there. The peg kind of fits in really well at that point. So that's sort of what you end up with. The sword ends up looking like so. That's the direction it should go. It goes in. So again, pretty cool and almost done. So let's go ahead and get going here with the last couple of options here. One of them being the plain arm, and this goes in here magnetized. It's a pretty good magnet here, kind of just grabs it in place without any issue. It's not a bad look at all. I think it looks really nice with the stretched out arm, but of course the option that I'm probably going to end up displaying them with is this awesome shield. So you kind of just take this out. Magnet is a pretty good grab on it, but again, you go ahead and put this in here. Just gonna try and get it in. Magnet kind of grabs it in place without much issue. which again, it's pretty cool that that fits in there just right. And then of course the last piece here is the head. I don't know if you'll run into this. I on my end did as well. This has a magnet here on the end. So I don't know if you could see that. That's supposed to go in here. And the magnet, it kind of feels like it does grab it, but the head kind of just, it's kind of almost just sitting there. You can feel the magnet kind of grab the head, and you can try and, you know, put in some pressure there, being very careful not to break anything potentially. But it's kind of just sitting there, which is a bit unfortunate. Again, you can feel the magnet kind of grab it, and, you know, but otherwise, if you don't place this just right, the head's kind of going to sit there and wiggle. So you just have to be really cautious with putting this in and pushing it in slightly so that, you know, it can be grabbed by the pressure and the magnet will grab it. I don't know if the slot of the neck is slightly too wide for the hole in the neck. Hopefully you don't run into that. But once you get that in, you're pretty much done at that point. And the statue itself looks pretty awesome. So I'm going to give you a bit of a spin here on Alucard here, give you guys a better look. All right, so all done. As I said, giving you guys a bit of a 360 look. Again, I love the design. I love the dynamic pose of this guy. It's sort of rushing, of course, a dash attack, running towards you with the shield in hand. The other two forms that he has, the bat, of course, you got the fog there, and the wolf form. The shield looks awesome. The cape, the way it's flowing, I think it looks really nice. The details in the costume, of course, look really good as well. Love that sword there. See if we give you guys a bit of a look. It's kind of really thin and up in the air, but overall I think you know, they've done a good job with the dynamic aspect of the piece. Now, as I said, I do have some issues with mine. The first one being that things do fit in, but in certain places they're loose. Like, for example, the bat part here is held on by a magnet and it fits in, but so you guys could see, it's kind of just sitting there, right? So you have to be really careful. That's a bit of a shame. The other thing to point out is because of the way this is designed, you're going to have a seam running through here. Really wish they would have done a way better job of sort of trying to come up with a better solution for that. You guys saw earlier the sword on mine very slightly bent off to the side, and then just lastly, as I mentioned for you guys, the neck on mine takes a bit of force to get it in, to have the magnet sort of grasp everything in place. But, you know, as far as the look, what they were going for, you know, to capture the Alucard in action, you know, with his different forms and the shield and everything, I think they've done a good enough job. Just a shame about the little, I guess, if you want to call them QC issues there. You know, because I think it's otherwise overall great statue here of this guy. It's not that big. This is probably I want to say looks to be about 14 inches in height there. Not a lot of width either. I mean, I'm going to say like maybe 10-12 inches there. So definitely I think it'll be a great piece if you just want to have a standalone, maybe on your desk. You know, it's good that we have these smaller options that don't take up a lot of room, especially for someone like myself who I'm running out of room for statues. But anyway, let me know your thoughts. If I missed anything, if you have any questions, you know, I personally, overall, I guess I'm kind of 80% happy with this one. The other 20% being that, you know, again, the issues I showed you kind of give me a bit of pause. But overall, I do like the aspect of what they were going for. I think they've achieved, you know, sort of that awesome look of Alucard in this action dynamic. So pardon the crappy lighting in this room, but this is how I will be displaying my Alucard Dash Attack statue here next to my other first four figures. Snake, right, from Metal Gear Solid. That's sort of like my Konami corner, as I like to call it. But overall, happy with it. I know it, you know, it's got its issues, as I showed you in my video. But I think, you know, the look that they were going for, you know, the whole dynamic aspect of Alucard and the different forms, they've definitely, I think, achieved that look. Just a shame about the minor, I guess, QC issues depending on, you know, how you look at it. But overall, I think I am happy with it. I like how it looked here next to my snake statue. If you made it to the end, again, thank you so much for your very valuable time. And then I will catch you in the next video. Take care.